Dan Parkinson's not done his intro yet.
Dan Parkinson. I love the way we had everything set out nice to last us. The fudge is gone. The mince pies are near enough
The
gone.
biscuits
There was
haven't
half a
even been
bag of
opened.
that when I left.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's not.
Order. I had 2 extra pieces.
Chris went and did his thingy. I went for a week, came back, there was none left.
No fudge left.
No fudge left now.
Nothing to do with Carl whatsoever.
No.
He's the one who started it by saying the fudge was great. And I was like,
It's
I'll try
epic.
it now.
See, there's an
Three
extra mince
pieces
pie
of that.
gone as well.
Maybe 4.
Oh.
Yeah, I've had it to somewhere.
'Tis the season.
This is Silly Point, an Inside Etown podcast.
Right, welcome to a Christmas special edition of Silly Point. Hosting as always, my name's Dan, and I'm joined on this festive day by Chris,
Hello.
Mel, and Carlos.
Ho, ho, ho.
Obviously, Carl, it's been a bit of a different approach to indoor nets this season because we've had to change venue at great expense at the last possible minute. Obviously, that's not been a great experience or preparation.
It was do or die. I think I'd give up, to be fair. Didn't think we'd find a venue, but we think 8 or 9 years at Haydock.
Yeah.
Don't know how we ended up there, I'll be honest. I can't remember that conversation. But we got there.
Yeah.
We got Carl Singleton, looked after us every single year, bent over backwards for us, always made sure. He probably contacted me before I contacted him in the winter, saying, you still want us, you still want to use us? And it was like, yeah. So it was relatively stress-free, that. But I saw a photograph of Carl Singleton on Wargrave House College Facebook page, introducing himself, or I think they've got a new building, and the post was something like new buildings manager Carl Singleton. I was like, what's he doing there? Messaged him, and he'd obviously changed, had a different direction for his career, but said to me, you need to now contact this fella. So I thought, well, there's not going to be any problems, we'll just keep rolling on. Message this fella, no reply for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when I did finally get a reply, it was, I don't think we're doing it. So it wasn't we're not doing it, it was I don't think we're doing it. So I was like, well,
But do we know him?
yeah. But he said, you've got those dates, you're in if we do it. So it was like, well, how do you make a plan B for that? Knowing that there wasn't probably a plan B that was obvious. Suraj and a few others, I think you mentioned there's somewhere in Liverpool that might have them. What was that? Where was that?
At St Margaret's.
St Margaret's. So that would have been meant us complete opposite. Whereas it's like 10% of our membership travel to us. It would have been 90% of us travelling out of town to go and net. So yeah, that was pretty nip and tuck. But we're at Hope Academy now, which is run through a separate organisation.
Sometimes can't.
Something letting, or no, I think it's private. I think
Is it?
something lettings they're called, who do the bookings at least.
Oh, right.
But yeah, that guy was great, to be fair. But there was no weekends available. And what time are we on? 8 till half 9.
8 till half 9.
So that's a bit new for us in terms of midweek is a new thing, but again to be an evening one, I think it might work quite well.
I was going to say,
suit some people.
whereas like our training starting when we're outdoors starting at 6 o'clock, there's several people can't get there, so having a later start.
I was thinking more of this, like just going from a weekend, a morning. I think potentially it'll help not that I net, but it'll help my attendance, I think, because we won't have Jack's football.
Yeah.
And I think you've mentioned to me, it's like consistency, because during the season, nets are on a Tuesday night anyway, so it's the same
all the
now.
way through, all year round.
All year
it's
round,
going to be
Tuesday
Tuesday
night is cricket training night.
Yeah, so I think it should be good. The price is double, more than double actually. So I'm expecting a good turnout because we've grown by probably another 10% membership wise this season. So if that continues and we get the same sort of numbers plus the new lads, plus there's a few that couldn't do Saturday mornings, so it might work the other way.
Yeah, it might work.
But yeah, we're probably not at the point where I would like to have said to everybody, look, the club will subsidise the increase, but with the things that we need in the situation that we're in, like machinery wise and ground situations and stuff.
You did that very subtly.
Yes,
every time
I
you
was
talk
just about to
every
say.
time you talk about machinery, you look Will straight in the eye. Every time, just to kind of make it known. There's the machinery breaker right there.
I'm feeling.
It was Freudian.
I'm feeling ostrich-eyed.
So it should be good. We have actually been to Hope before, if you remember. I think we had a season there.
Yeah,
but
they had the rubber floor or something like that, didn't they?
It's a spring-loaded floor as
Spring-loaded,
opposed to the what was that other one called parquet or whatever it's called.
Parquet. Oh yeah.
So it is a different surface, but it's still the mat.
Yeah.
It shouldn't affect it too much, I don't think. But it's there or nowhere, so I think we'll make the best of it. Hopefully, just gets us together. You mentioned that you don't winter well in terms of not having access to playing cricket, which is what you love to do. I think it wouldn't matter. Obviously, it's not big enough in here to set up to have throwdowns, but I think just getting together is half the battle, and it gives us an opportunity to do that pretty quickly.
Well, if we're net indoors, I might actually be able to hit it off the square in here.
Well, you know.
You
never know.
So I think just one thing that I want to talk about in a bit more length after the nets. Obviously, the club never stops. We're always needing to do something. One of the things I really love is the rota, which I've never had the opportunity to do for one reason or another. That's been a thing recently. We've done a food bank collection. I just think like Christmas isn't always an easy time for some people, and I just love that the club has that kind of community visibility and presence, even at this time of year, when we've all got stuff to do and people to see and places to be. I love that about the club. That
the hardest part of Christmas is getting the lads out together socially on a night.
Yeah.
Because there is the office parties, family stuff. Some of us are being Father Christmas at pubs in randomly that, how that's come about. That's another, but we'll save that for another podcast.
Friday night.
That's the hardest bit.
Didn't have to it this year.
Getting a Christmas night out. We still haven't sorted one. But traditionally, Etown at Christmas is we start with the food bank, which is either like the mid to last week of November. We usually have a few decks up. We didn't this year because somebody broke the Christmas tree. So that starts that, and that's a great day. It's
Hang on, did he look at me then?
a great cause. It's a great cause that we do that. Usually, like I say, there's mince pies and things thrown around. It's a good day for those who can, manage to attend. Then the Rotary starts, which we've done for, I want to say that's probably done that for about 8 years.
It's not far off.
And again, for those who don't know what the Christmas float is, what's up, Willis?
Hey.
Do you want a mince pie?
How do you know that?
we're doing.
You
This
guys,
is Christmas,
you
you can
guys
go
are psychic. You really are.
I know, yeah. We're doing really subtle things here. We're looking at people when talking about broken machinery and glancing over precious trophies when trying to obtain mince pies.
He's touched it.
Every podcast
He's touched it.
he's touched it.
So anyway, going back to the Rotary, 8 years, I think, maybe 9. Whereas you're a big Christmas float enthusiast.
Very much. Yeah.
We go around with the Rotary guys with Father Christmas on the sleigh. And have you seen the photos? Do you know
I've
what we're
seen
talking
them,
about?
yeah.
I know we're not exclusive to Newtley Willows Rotary. I know it is a thing that is in each sort of Rotarian's borough or wherever you would call it. But that's good. We're basically door knocking, but it's obviously been going for so long that majority of doors you knock on, they know, it's not like we're just going to give to charity for nothing. The music's blasting. It's usually, I think it's always, I get more Christmassy when that happens and you're listening to Elton John and all the Paul McCartneys and all the the Christmas songs because that's blasting and it's good. It's unfortunately the last 2 years not been supported by us.
No. Although Friday was really good.
Or was it Good Friday?
Yeah.
There was a few out last year, wasn't there? James along last year.
On those ones, but Will and I did one on our own last year, and I also did one on my own with Softy. And it's not just, yes, it's Christmassy, yes, it's good to support other community groups, but there is a motive in terms of doing it because you get rewarded. You get, at the end of it, the Rotarians, obviously, everything they raise as a group, they give 100% of it to their community. So in January sometime there'll be a dinner. Did we have hot pot last year?
Yeah.
They put some food on and they get all the groups that have supported each night, give you some free food, chat about what's happened and what groups have done what and how well it went or not, and then they give you a check towards your community towards what you want to do. So we don't do it for nothing, but ultimately it's a Christmas thing, and it is.
I mean, what I get from it is you. I mean, the kids, as soon as they sort of hear Father Christmas or they see Father Christmas, they're there, and they're so excited. And that G's me up.
My best memory of it last year was Dave Jenkins. I don't know if you've ever seen him do it. You usually get one side of the road and the other group will get the other side. So if it was us, if we were doing it, you three might be on the left-hand side of the road and we'd be on the right side, and you'd go a door ahead. So like I went down a drive, Jenko would go down the next, and I'm coming out going down the next. And as I've come out, he was behind me and he picked a traffic cone up off the street like he does and used it as a speaker. And he goes, "Carl Allen to reception, please." He was booming out this thing. But there was a Rotarian behind him. Most of the Rotarians who get on great, they get us, they sort of, we're Etown and they laugh and whatever. This guy was not impressed.
No.
He looked at me as if to say, that is unacceptable behaviour. But looking at Janko, he had a pair of shorts on, a fleece, the tab out, the high-vis thing, and this thing, "Carl, into reception, please." And it was hilarious. And then, but yeah, so that's the thing. Like we talk about the food bank, the laughs we have when we're here. We're here to try and help families, donate food for us. We take it to the church, and there's an important reason why we do it. But you could just sit here, just pissing your sides for a couple of hours, and
he did his bit for ecosystem as well, didn't he?
What?
Janko did his bit for the ecosystem.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. He relieved.
Is this?
He couldn't find the gents, so
Couldn't find a gent, so there was a bush 100 metres away. Yeah.
He didn't use the cone, did he?
No, but thinking about we could make tea in that.
Oh god! So there's the two probably most Christmassy things that we do. I think the Rotary and the food bank is traditionally a Christmas thing because we're not a winter sport. We have to try and find other things to get involved in.
So for me, this is the first club that I've been a part of that they haven't just literally closed down. As soon as they've done the end of year presentations, like, right, we're done, we'll see you in January, or right, we're done, or they only will contact you when it's time for you to pay them, whether it's membership or you to help them out. And even so, the food bank for me was a big one. So we've always donated obviously a little bit of food each year. Obviously we normally do it back by mine a bit further down in Liverpool, but Mrs. O decided this year, now if the club are doing it, we'll donate it. And we brought a few stuff, and she came with me, and she was amazed because I think by the end of the day, the whole of this back wall and the underneath was completely and utterly filled.
It was
brilliant. That to me was for let's be honest, for the area that we're in, and for the, as you always go, Newton's the big club. But for the small old Etown, the amount of stuff that were there, the amount of people that were turning up, and you can't remember, you just parked his pickup truck out front, even though you've asked him many times not to drive on the
he just likes driving on the grass, Tony.
But he literally turned up with his pickup truck, and his back was full, and so was his back seat, and it's like, it's an amazing thing to see. Yeah.
I think similar to you, I think Tony's family have always given somewhere across a year, and obviously
Yeah.
being part of the club with his 2 grandsons, he decided that he was like you would jump on it in terms of our collection to give to them. Again, I've said to us before, to people before about the food bank thing. I like the fact that it's local, everything potentially. Although we think maybe this collection this year might have been swiped.
It might have been
by
swiped,
the St Helens people, but that's always been the focal point of it. We've said to the collectors there, rightly or wrongly, just don't tell people you're getting it. Just put it under the table until, because they were up. One of the reasons we started it is because they were turning people away because there was not. They had so many people coming to ask for support. They didn't have enough to give out, which is heartbreaking. I think.
I can remember you saying you took the stuff in, the food in one year, and she was almost in tears.
There was tears, the first time. She wasn't expecting it. I think she thought we'd literally have like us going to the shop and filling a bag up each and going, there you go. But we had crates and crates and crates of stuff, didn't we? And I think they all went in the back store so she could help people that she knew that were coming that couldn't afford to feed the families and stuff. So yeah, but Christmas as at Etown is those are the 2 things really that we know that we never have any problems organising. The Rotary just say to us, right, what can you do? And we fulfil it. We decide the food bank. The hardest bit is probably the Christmas piss up, I think, to get people's diaries all together, which is what you mentioned about other clubs that you've been at.
Yeah.
Once the season's finished, it's out of sight, out of mind, and we try that to not allow that to happen. It does for many of us. I can't remember. I think the WhatsApp group is probably it's as good as it is. It probably allows you into a sense of, like George put that message in today about the bump he's had in his car.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Jordan since the presentation. Not sure, but it doesn't feel like that because I speak to him every day on the group, more or less, or if someone's putting something in. So I think it gives you an illusion of
it's like a
of
false
clubs
positive type of thing, isn't it?
and I think maybe if we didn't have such the technology like that, or he might like a Facebook post or something, you feel like you're probably still seeing each other, but ultimately you haven't, and everyone's busy away from cricket with their own lives and work and stuff, and doing flips on the motorway or whatever he's done.
Yeah, just on Jord, I hope you and Frankie are doing okay, but just remember to use all 4 wheels next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel.
Right, we've been accused on this podcast of selling out, and I'd just like to assure you all, listeners, viewers, contributors, that we have not sold out. But what we do now normally is, at this time on the podcast, we have a Pimlets pie. And this episode of Silly Point is in association with Pimlets, and we thank them very much for their sponsorship and for being a well-known brand in the local area for many years.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you then, Carl? Because, you know, the majority of other clubs just kind of, season finishes mid-September, let's get a presentation night organised October, right, we'll see you in January, February. How hard is it for you to try and balance, because you run up to Christmas, everyone's so busy. But for you obviously got to sort your own stuff out, but there is a kind of, not pressure, but there is kind of a little bit of onus put on you and then the committee and maybe the grounds team, not just to keep this place ticking over, but to keep everybody involved.
Well, I've been trying to sort a Christmas do out for ages, but never. I have my own issues and diaries and things. It's not easy, but I think I probably don't get as frustrated as I might because the ground staff meet every week.
Yep.
Now I don't make it every week, but
No.
most of us do.
Yeah, you
week
you
or
dipped
the
out
other.
this week.
I wasn't there this week.
Yeah.
I don't think I was there the week before either.
No,
or the
you
week
dipped
before
out then
that.
as well.
So
Not that Will's count.
yeah. So it's,
No. It's just that Jude provides some sort of food, and like the last 2 weeks she's been a bit OTT with it.
well, to be fair, there was one where we weren't expecting Jude to turn up with anything, and she turned up with enough food to sink a ship. But also, there was one day where we were actually desperate for Jude to turn up with food because we were starving, and she never turned up. So I think we had to demolish the Groundsman's biscuits tin, I think, for that. But yeah, is it hard? I think. See, it's different. The way you might look at it, and maybe even you, in some respect, Mel, because you don't live here
Mm-hmm.
within, like, you don't see, I mean, you go to Tesco a lot, don't you? Because you
Yeah, I
probably
go
do
to
drive
Tesco,
past,
yeah.
but it's always here. We mentioned off camera before about the Thursday Club.
Yeah.
It's not as regular as it was because we have a southerner in there who can't take the cold. So he won't come in here unless heating guaranteed to be on. So that's
Who's that?
Cockney Stew.
Ah, sorry.
Doesn't like the cold.
That's good. It's because his hair's not real, isn't it? It's
Hey.
tattooed. So
Doesn't
it's
like the
nothing.
cold.
Yeah.
And his blackcurrant freezes in his Guinness, so he doesn't like it. But I'd like to do more, but it's impossible. The thing I've missed actually about the Christmas stuff, I missed off, is the groundsman's Christmas dinner. So obviously that became a tradition. I don't know how it became about that,
Neither do I.
but that's been going for years and years. You know, Alan Nurse, George, Kenna was involved in a lot of early doors Christmas dinners. We actually went to Trebarron. It's not called that anymore, is it?
Newbank.
Newbank.
Yeah.
We actually went there one year for a Christmas dinner. 4 of us, Christmas hats, like 4 Wallies, Christmas jumpers in the middle of Trebarron. We've recently been looked after by Joanne in the Griffin. It's not been Christmas themed food. We had curry, we had chicken curry, didn't we, on last week? When was
Yeah.
it? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we had chicken pakora.
Yeah.
So, but it's brilliant, and it's just a thank you and a togetherness, even though we do see each other most weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's important to me. So again, maybe not seeing, see Dave a lot, pointing over there because he's behind camera.
Tenerife, Scotland,
Big
Dave.
Dave.
So like the Thursday Club, but everything is, almost all of my social. I mean, I've just had a text off Chris from Bedford Park while we've been doing this, saying we're all going to Wigan on the 28th if you fancy joining us. So that's cricket. So I only know Chris through cricket. So all of my social potential is because of here. So yeah, everything does start
Yeah.
here for me. And I know it's not the case for everyone. People will know people that don't play cricket, but I just tend not to.
So I think one thing that we always have around about this time of year, it's not quite Christmas, but in January is the AGM. Now, obviously, for a club of our size, that is a big deal. How do you feel about the AGM this year? A good feeling given the swelling numbers, or is there a lot that we need to get sorted ahead of Liverpool comp? Or
I don't think, in that respect, and Will might have a different opinion. I think the league stuff isn't really it's not up for discussion.
No.
You have a fee to pay, register by here, fulfil these fixtures, and have an insurance document. That's it. So there's it doesn't matter whether we're moving into the Coventry comp. I think
No.
whatever, we don't bring anything into that. What we have to do is make sure that we're ready with other stuff.
Ready and compliant. That's
Which is
the only
not really
responsibility.
it's not the AGM. Ultimately, is election of officers, I guess, and
Yeah.
and any kind of big serious discussions. It's probably not the time and the place for it. I don't think. There's lots of things. This probably is a big one coming up because obviously the viaduct situation and selling of land and things that we can't really comment on here because we're being kept out of that loop. We're not being told anything. All we're being told is it's not going to affect cricket and you're going to get state-of-the-art showers. They're the two take-out points, which we don't want to waste our discussion on that until we know more. We're as prepared as we could be. We can always be more prepared. We talked about the Ashes earlier. They, but I think one of the things for me, the most important thing is finance and how we build our revenue streams over 2026. Because yes, we're making more, but we're spending more, and that's from things like the electricity bill is crazy at the moment. Petrol has been up more. I haven't quite finished the AGM prep for the finances, but everything's up. Nothing has come down. So adding another Sunday section, which we did, which were called, what were they called?
I know nothing.
Top
Sorry,
Guns,
Top Guns.
Kanasunga,
And then Kazguma.
Kazguma, close.
Yeah.
You'd think that would lead your books to say, well, we've made X amount more this year because that section came, but with an extra section on a Sunday comes more bills, you know, and it only covers a few of the other expenses that are going up all the time. We've had a terrible year for machinery, probably the worst. Probably. Sorry, I didn't actually mean to look at you then.
No.
I'm looking at you more so because you're on that group as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can't look at Chris and say, do you remember when the Scarifier broke? Because he's not part of that group.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
So yeah, I think the original question was Dan. Sorry, was Dave. That's Dave. The AGM is input. I think for me that's the big take. We're going to have to put the onus on the lads to either come up with better solutions in terms of paying membership and things. We're just going to have to be a lot more savvy, I think.
Yeah.
Which we've attempted to do.
Yeah. Yep.
But obviously we get strangled. In my view, controversial otherwise, the viaduct want to suffocate us with revenue streams that you would point to a club. If you were going to set a club up, you would automatically say, well, we want somewhere where people can buy a beer, can buy a lemonade, can buy some fudge.
Yep.
And they want to stop all of that. So how do we fund what's going on without a hole in the wall like that? You can't, can you? Unless you completely fleece your membership, and we've never really wanted to do that, have we?
No.
The amount of arguments we've had, well, we don't argue about stuff. Probably the thing that we've probably not fallen out, it's not the right word, but the thing that's been the most controversial at times has been what we sell things for.
Yes.
And how much membership should be.
Yeah.
Because half of us are thinking, well, yeah, but I can't charge Big Dave £3.50 for a can of lager because he can go in there and buy. You know what? I'm only using it as an example. I'm not saying that's. I would rather, well, people coming in here make it £2.50, but then someone else will say, well, we need to make this amount of money, and ultimately, if they're going to support the club, he'll pay £3.50. Or you know that type of conversation. We probably have to put the onus back on the membership to say you're going to have to come and start buying a drink. You're going to have to start, you know, having a. I remember Duller once came with a big crate of pop. I think
It was,
Tango or something.
Tango, I think it was. Yeah.
Paid his £10 match fee. I went, yeah, and give us that to sell. And I don't know where he got it from. He might have found it in the street. I don't know. But that type of thing, if we could all be a little bit more mindful over the season to do that, I don't know how much that fudge cost, but as an example, if Mrs. O made another batch and said, yeah, go and take that, we could say, £1 a ticket after the game, winner wins a bag of fudge. That type of, you know, that sort of thing, and it does add up. And I think trying to get that across to the membership's hard. You know, we all probably would point the finger at Eddie Platt in terms of how tight he comes across and how he wants to pay his subs £1 a week, and it's a lot of fun, and he is he's a very generous person.
Yeah, he is.
It's more of an act with him. He paid his indoor subs once in a 50p, a 2p, 2 buttons and a bottle top, and just laughed and walked off. And I'm not blaming. He's just as an example of what he's like. But I think we all need to be prepared this year just to kind of dig as deep as we possibly can.
Yeah, and potentially come up with ideas to make us business case wise more financially viable, because then potentially other doors can open to us.
I think
that's not for
I think
here.
there's a cost running. There's a day-to-day thing. We're fine. We make what we need.
Yeah.
But it's like spinning plates. We've only got 2 plates spinning. We need more. We need to get a plate spinning that's a new outfield cutter. We need to get one spinning that's a new roller. That's what we need to do. We've got, how do we get we can survive,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
how
yeah.
can we improve?
Mm.
That's the key, I think, with everything going on. We're okay with that, but we need a new machine. How do we get that money? How do we fund that? So we need to be able to probably looking at going to the bank to say, well, you know, every home game we make X amount of money. We've got a card machine now, which is handy for monitoring income and stuff on match days. It's more that, I think, and it's getting that across at the AGM quickly and concisely to say to the lads, things are good, they need to be better, you need to be with us. I think there's no room for lads that just aren't that bothered. I think we need to try and make them understand how hard things are,
Yes.
and
Yep.
not paying the tenner on a match day might seem insignificant, or taking a can out the fridge and not paying for it might
Yep.
seem tiny, and it is on the face of it.
On the
but
face of it, it's
over
tidy.
the season, see, I've been trying to think of things like this and ways that we can make money, and I thought about, well, originally called it the Etown 100,
Yeah.
and what I was basically, in a nutshell, what I was going to say is like an upper part of your membership. So you pay your £50 for your membership, but you could pay £100, and I wanted there'd be 100 places available to be like a super member,
Mm.
but the £50 that you paid extra went to something every season. So if we had how many 50 times 100, how many is that, Dave? Darts man.
500.
That would be something we wouldn't be able to have to. It would be out of budget. It would be a separate budget on its own. And if we said like, well, the machinery, the outfield cutter needs £500 worth of work doing to it, the E-Town 100 members would cover that payment. If you know what I mean.
I would possibly suggest that if you did the sort of pay £100, that is for a specific project, i.e.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I just
because we always.
But
and
how much could you get? How many? If you think about it, we've got 70 to 100 potential players.
Yeah.
How many of those people would give us £50 for nothing, for no comebacks? How many would give us £100 for nothing? It's hard enough very often to get people to give the £50 to be a member. They want to be here every week. They want to come in and have a nice cold beer, or they want to come in and say, well, that looks nice, how you painted that. You know, they want to see the improvements, but do they actually want to say, well, some of us can't. Some are work and mortgage and kids and stuff. It's hard.
Yeah.
But how many of the people that could would?
I mean, I think.
So would it be 500 people giving an extra £20?
Oh, but if it was £10 a month for 5 months on a
Well, actually, Dave Jenkins said to me once,
standing order as opposed to a direct debit, then
Dave Jenkins said
then
to
it's
me
got a finite cut-off.
we should set up, members should be able to pay a tenner a week, which is match subs, from January to December. Is that right? Yeah. So it would cover, so you wouldn't pay, so you get picked on a Saturday,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to pay a separate tenner because it's already into the bank and it goes across the 12 months. That's what Dave Jenkins said. But that's not something that's separate. It's up to somebody. I should be something I should
And that
just do
includes
anyway.
membership.
It could include your membership.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a snippet of what we might want to talk about next year for fundraising. But as a Christmas special, it puts us on a bit of a tone. But there's loads of things, and maybe the AGM, somebody might throw up an idea. Somebody might say, well, at my last club we did this. It's something that we don't do. Or you might say, oh, my mum did this when she was a fundraiser or whatever. It might just John O'Donnell's usually key, isn't he? Because he's got so much experience within clubs and committees and leagues that he seems to have a lot of bases covered in terms of, well, I remember when such a body did this, or this committee said that. So I think the AGM is important, but it also marks the start of the season, doesn't it? It's three days this year after the first training session. We do want everyone to try and have paid the membership by the end of Jan at the latest. So yeah, I think the AGM ultimately is the start of it all. It's where we get back to seeing most of each other. captains are decided,
Yeah, he's gonna
which
have
is
that.
obviously a huge thing. It's quite a new thing for us, really, because for so long we only ever had one,
Yeah.
and nobody ever really wanted for that to go for it. So it was
Yeah.
easy, but now we've become
There's like 5 captains.
and there's a Sunday team now. So
6. There'll be 6 next season. Yeah.
Oh, we're definitely going ahead.
we're just waiting on the confirmation from the comp guy.
Yeah, funny
They
enough,
know our
I
interest.
spoke to the chairman the other day and sort of said, are you aware? He said, I'll go and find out. Yeah. I know because I've had emails, so I know he's raised other points that I've raised. So he has spoken. I'm assuming he's spoken to people about it.
So there's another captain and what we do with that. I don't think anyone's going to dive all over it to start with, but
Yeah.
whether it's a guest captain each week, we don't know. But again, that's something that we can.
So there's that kind of impact. So we're talking about you had 2
Yeah.
teams playing here last season who were renting over Sunday. Obviously that means the club have to drop down to 1 now to accommodate
Yeah,
the Sunday team as well.
The big
But it
rotation.
Then you've got to
And
balance
your
it.
Could it be subs?
Sunday
Yeah.
players can't play on a
So it
Saturday.
balances it out.
Yeah, your Sunday players can't play on a Saturday.
first team.
First team. Yeah.
But for the 2s, they would be able to play.
I think so. Yes.
Because there's going to be. I was just going to say that's like not great because there's going to be situations where we are short on a Saturday. People can only play on a Sunday. So, but like, for example, for myself, I will happily play Saturday, Sunday every weekend that I can next season because I don't know if you know, but I had kidney stones last season, so I missed quite a lot of cricket.
Did you?
Yeah, I know.
I never ever.
I know.
We're not doing a kidney stone special episode. We're
No.
not doing it.
I know.
That special's literally going to be Will sitting there, Dan sitting there, and all 3 of us in the room. That's what it's going to be.
I know. Never talk about it. I know. Never talk about it.
This episode of Silly Point is brought to you in association with St Helens Dart Shop Megastore.
180.
That's interesting. I didn't realise if you played first team on a Saturday, you couldn't play for the Sunday team.
No, you can't.
That's interesting. It's an interesting conundrum, especially if it comes to that Sunday team and making sure you've got enough players to play out as well.
It is, but the thing with the reason ultimately behind the Sunday section, whether it fails or it doesn't, is junior cricket. We're miles off junior cricket, miles off it. And I think to keep the juniors that we've got here, we have to offer them some sort of cricket.
I think something we can explore is that the county have got a youth set up whereby you can sit there and say, right, I've got 3 players, and they'll fit them into a local team. They may not be playing with the same team every week. Well, that's my understanding. I may be wrong, but we can sit there and say, hey, look, we've got 3 that really need follow-on cricket. You know, it's they've sort of gone past the Dynamos All-Star stage or something like
We've
that.
got obviously James, Alex, Jensen,
Little Jensen, yeah.
who've gone elsewhere to play their junior stuff. So there's 3. You know, Tofty didn't play a lot of Saturday cricket.
Luckily, their games are midweek.
Yeah, but I'm not saying I'm not saying there's going to be a clash. What I'm saying is we need to offer them cricket, and I don't always. I know this is a controversial comment, but I don't always think that they're the best options in the selection. I think very often there's enough players to not pick those kids. As much as we want them to have cricket, and we think they've got good techniques, or they've scored some runs, or they've took wickets, I still think there's other. There's one example. I think it was might have been between James and Dave Shearer. I think, if I remember rightly, and I think James got the nod, and I was a bit like, I don't think that's right. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I just felt like at that moment, Dave should have been playing. But because if we'd have had a junior section, and James had been playing every week, that wouldn't seem as controversial a comment to make, because you want to look at James as the future of the club, and Alex and Jensen and Jack and whoever else we've got coming through. But Dave is the club right now. So for him to miss out for a junior player, do you know? You see, there's arguments for, and so I think to stop those arguments, if we can offer Sunday. With at the heart of that being our junior players, Doesn't matter whether they play junior cricket on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives us an opportunity. I mean, it could be that the likes of the Dave Shearer or somebody who's always cropped up in that conversation, can you play Sunday, Dave? Yeah, I'll play Sunday. So it's not that important, but when you've only got one option, it limits you.
Yeah.
But if we can offer them another option, and I just think, that it is a problem that you can only play Saturday or a Sunday for some of us, but I don't think it's a reason not to push it. If we push it this year and it fails, then we know. But we tried. Everybody was against the seconds coming back at the time. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people were against. A lot of people thought it'd be a jump too far.
Yeah.
And my opinion at the time was, go for it, because if we don't do it now, we never will. I feel like we might be at that point now. How many lads are we turning away on a Saturday to play cricket?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be tough. It won't be, we're not flooded with players, but I definitely think the interest that we got in the few polls that we did early doors, and some new players are inquiring.
Yeah.
And I think Sunday will work for. I think this time next year,
We'll be millionaires.
I think we'll have another 5 or 6 lads that
That's-
we've never met before playing cricket for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
me
if
other
they're
jumper.
just Sunday players, then that's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will take a slight hit on a guaranteed pitch fee,
Yeah.
higher fee, but we might sell more, more behind the bar and
More
if it's
chocolates and
we
soft
obviously
drinks.
this needs to be agreed, but if it's a tenner a match, then there is an income coming in. If the juniors probably won't expect the juniors to pay a tenner, but there will be a fee at the end of that game. I know there'll be an umpire to pay, but it might be that there's 50 quid going in the account every week through the subs, and 50 quid from people buying Mars bars and Lucasade.
Yeah.
And it will mount up.
Well, that's the thing. It will all mount up.
And I think it gives us an opportunity not to lose Alex, James. The last thing we want is James playing for Sutton on a Saturday or Winstanley Park or wherever he's going. That would be criminal of us as a club, because he gets up there.
As you said, there's been a couple
Don't get me
of
wrong,
times.
if he develops to the point where he's too good for us, I will gladly say, let's go and get him wherever he needs to go. But right now, I think we both can benefit from both sides of those. We can give the opportunity for James to become, and Alex, and to be better cricketers, to make us better. But then if we get to the point where, look, man,
They're
James
better
needs
than
to-
us.
He needs to be needs to be on a better pathway. But the pathway might be different now. We're in the Liverpool comp. We might get actually more recognition now, rather than Southport and District.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think we can honestly say this season there's been a lot more weekends where there's been more people available than needed, rather than struggling on the backside to get players in. And it seems like it's a natural fix. And again, it just thinking at it from a wider point of view, it might actually make the Saturday team stronger, because you can pick what the captains believe are the strongest first team, the strongest second team, because you know the people who are going to get left out are going to be first choice on the Sunday team.
And it's not. You actually smashed it there, because it's not just about juniors.
No.
The idea is a focal point for the juniors, but it could be the making again, and like Reece, for instance, it might be the next part of his development to play, 3 or 4 times in a month, rather than play once and be 12th man for 3.
Yeah.
And that, because he's not going to get any better. Again, I hope he won't mind me using him as an example, but he won't get any better if he's not playing. He can train his ass off like he does.
No.
It's the same for everyone.
Same for everyone. Yep, 100%.
But he's kind of that level where he might not, I haven't spoke to him personally about the Sunday, so I don't know. He might go, Sundays doesn't work for me. I might go to beard church or beard.
Well, his situation is changing. Fingers crossed, changing quite a bit. Early part of next year.
Cut off.
Well, his beard?
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
So I think it's an option, and it might fail, but I think if we don't try it.
It's really nice to see the club is in a position to try
Yeah.
things, rather than just
Yeah.
saying, let's not, in case we get this wrong, in case we lose money, in case. It's nice that people, the committee, whenever I go, do you know what? Even if it's for only a season, let's give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, despite some people saying cricket's a dying sport, the thing I've noticed since I've been here is every year there is an advancement, there's a progress. It might not be massive milestones, but it's a progress. You know, we had one team, then we had two, we had one midweek team, we had two, we've got three, and then we've got four. I mean, four by default, but we've got four.
Well, that
And
needs going back to the AGM. That needs talking about because I think I know he's just bought a new kit for it, but I think that might need condensing slightly. But we need to speak to Phil about what his plans are for the league, because if he can't offer us the opportunity to dominate that league with our selection process, if all those four teams played on one night, we're knackered.
The other thing you've got to factor in as well is more teams in the league means less chance of, I think, for a club, if you put the nets on a Tuesday night, you need to kind of make Tuesday nights when outdoors is available kind of sacrosanct in a way, and you have to say, as much as we appreciate LMS, Tuesdays are no, because that's when we want to keep consistent for everyone.
And that's difficult because on Monday night it's Dynamos in May, June and July.
Monday and Tuesday is club of as much as, and I shouldn't say this as being part of kind of the thing that's run LMS, but Mondays and Tuesdays LMS isn't as important to this club as the other things. Wednesdays and Thursdays, fine, great. But Mondays definitely with Dynamos.
I suppose
and Tuesdays,
worst come to the worst, Fridays.
If you want to, from an LMS point of view, you will struggle to get people to play LMS on Friday night. We've tried many occasions when we've talking with my LMS management head on when we polled players of when's best for you. I've never had anyone say, I'll be willing to play every Friday, because a lot of people will go, no, I finish work early, bye.
Most clubs do their junior stuff on a Friday.
Yeah.
And it's always, whenever I've had those conversations, the mums and dads can go in the bar and the kids can run around for an hour, and it becomes like a social event for them. But we don't have that.
No.
Plus, it's then getting a coach to try and come on a Friday, which is not always convenient. So, Mondays just seems to have been the best day that we could possibly have for it as a club. But it's again we're at AGM chat, aren't we? So,
do you think there's competition when you're talking about, just to kind of round off the AGM chat? You talk about captains and how it's different now compared to nobody wanting to do it. Do you think there's a little bit, not competitiveness, but do you think there's more to talk about when it comes to captains this year, other than who wants to do it? Right, you've got it. Do you think there's a lot more to take, especially with the Liverpool?
I was going to say you're all going to have DBSs and everything. So
we have to have them anyway, don't we?
Yeah, but
so I think that changes as such. But I still think it's a bit of a poison chalice in terms of I don't think lads want it. Ultimately, I don't. Obviously, the progression from me was Adam. I don't think Adam was desperate for it. I think Adam thought, well, if he's not doing it, I'll do it. You know, he's just one of our most seniors, one of our best players. I think that was kind of just the natural successor. You know, if I'd have been hit by a bus, never mind just sort of retiring and taking a step back. There had to be someone taking it, and it probably made sense at that point that Adam is the sort of star of the team, that naturally he would take over. Then the injury come, but I think he was obviously quite close with Jordan, had chats about stuff, and they seemed to have similar thoughts about the way the team should go. And I think that was where the vice captain situation came in, and then Adam's injury forced Jordan to take it. He did alright. I think he's enjoyed most of it. Whether that means he's desperate to do it again this year, we don't know. I haven't spoken to him. But it could be a case of, well,
he's too busy sliding the wrong way
if
down.
No, but he's probably going to, when we put that question out at the AGM, I don't think there's going to be any hands up. I'm actually going to ask the week before for people that have got an interest in any of the roles that we've got to make it known. But who is going to do it? And that probably is the same for the seconds. I think there's people who will have a go at it if they have to, but I don't think anyone's sat at home going, do you know what, on the 9th of Jan, I'm going to that's me, like I did all them years ago to stop John McLaren folding us.
If you haven't seen it, watch Carl's episodes because he goes into very much detail on that.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
Is this podcast
Recording, Will? Yes.
no on a like a season?
When did you arrive?
A
by the
season?
way?
Sorry.
When did you arrive? We've been there all the time.
Is it based on a seasonal thing? Or?
I don't know. I think we all just picked dodgy jumpers to turn up with, Will. And just
All right,
thought,
okay,
you know,
yeah.
It's just, might as well. It's Christmas.
Yeah, might as well.
And I think with that, I guess it's
Yeah, it went a bit serious, didn't
Yeah,
it? But,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the AGM is the start of the next year. I think it's a positive. We hope that lads have had the winter to think, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But we always survive in terms of we always nominate somebody. Somebody will do it. I'm assuming you're going to put your name in the ring again to continue. Wouldn't be any particular reason why you wouldn't. So I think it'll. My gut is telling me it will be the same, and we'll go again with the same people in charge.
Yeah.
The
For
LMS.
those of you that don't understand, an AGM is an annual general melee. Sorry, meeting.
Well,
Sorry.
I think with the melee, it depends if the viaduct's involved. Let's be honest.
do we have a venue for the AGM? It's in here actually.
He's sat in it, yeah.
It's ignored.
I think last year they tried because I don't know, it was late or something, and Will said, "Oh, I'll set up a Zoom for everybody to join." And then
Yeah.
the Zoom only lasted for half an hour, and it took Will 15 minutes to get it working.
Yeah.
And then it all died.
Yeah, and it died because Dave was on a coach going to Cornwall, weren't you?
You
Yeah.
want to swim?
I was in Madeira.
And
Yeah.
The Raiders captain is, your 30 minutes for free is up. No!
I can see the LMS captaincy being put in abeyance, I think, just until we know for sure what Phil's plans are with the
Yeah.
league. And I understand why he couldn't give us carte blanche in terms
Yeah.
of fixtures, which he's done in the past, or been able to do in the past. But that's a big problem, I think. If, let's say, the Griffins versus Raiders here, Kings versus Blasters at Haydock,
No.
it's not happening, is it? As good as we're doing numbers-wise, it ain't happening. It's just not. Because then we've got to find 2 umpires in that probably as well. So that, yeah, there's a lot to discuss.
As
You-
you said,
you'll notice-
LMS-wise,
you'll notice I stay quiet at that.
LMS-wise, that's, in the nicest possible way, that's not as important as getting the weekend stuff and the base level of the club sorted, is it?
It's not, no, in terms of organisation, but obviously the LMS has been crucial to our recent success, and I'll always put my hat on that, my Christmas hat. The main reason that Saturdays have gone so well for us in the last 2, 3, 4 years is because of only being of LMS. We mentioned about nets and stuff before, and picking the right night for lads who might want to play LMS or want to train. They would all choose to play LMS over training, and that's okay when things are going okay. But if it's not, you need to be putting the time into a training session. So there is arguments for every different bit to be as important as something else, but it all clicks in eventually together. And I don't know how we've done it for so long, but all the decisions we seem to have made have clicked in without one really being the catalyst for another. It's all just been, it's always worked. But the LMS is a huge thing for player recruitment. Milestones, so lads actually believing that they can get a 50 on a Saturday, that they can take wickets, they can catch a cricket ball, most of it in a pressureless environment, although maybe that probably went out the window a little bit at times last year in terms of, I think some of those teams did play under a bit of pressure, which has never really been what we've wanted from the LMS, but yeah, I'm sure we can sure it'll be interesting the 9th anyway to see what captains are announced and whether it is all announced on the one night.
I mean, and we've been in that fortunate situation of things have actually gone right for us, whether that be through superb management or just sheer blind luck.
Blind luck mostly. Yeah, it's blind luck mostly.
You can't, even from the clubs I've played at, you can't have one without the other.
No.
Nothing's ever going to
No,
be.
you never win
perfect.
anything with that
Never.
luck.
No.
I think sometimes you just got to be realistic, and I think my things have gone well for me because I think I've been more realistic than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like you said before, and you're desperate to say compliance and got to do this, and it's
Yep.
got to be done like this, it's
Yep.
got to be done like that. But it's not realistic all the time to be like that.
No, it's not.
And you can either, and it'll spoil your own enjoyment of being part of the club. If you're going around saying you can't do that, you can't do that, we need to do this, we need to do that, it's just do your own head in.
Mm.
So you've got to try and have that little bit of leeway with idiots. It's like, we're laughing, you and I were laughing. I watched 2 of your games this season. There was no scoreboard out at one point. Nobody
Yeah.
was scoring. The game was going on, and you've got 30 years experience of cricket and stuff, and you're captain, and I'm like, we're winging it here. This is, and this was a cup winning
It's a
team
cup.
and runners up in the league. So you do wing it, and you don't get everything right, even if you wanted to thought you could all the time. You just wouldn't. So I think just hold on and hold on as long as you can until you fall off, and
What
then
was it?
hope that somebody picks you up after that.
What was that song? I'm the king of the wingers.
Well, I think you were serving a drink, because he said, "Well, Will's scoring." I said, "No, he's in there pouring someone a fucking coffee or something," and the game's on. So I'm like, "What's going on here?" But that's the beauty of Hillstown as well. We get it wrong so many times, but we always tend to
We get it right in the end.
do enough.
I think then the only thing left to say is Merry Christmas and here's to Hillstown Cricket Club.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas, guys.
Happy Easter.
Cheers.